Hi, and welcome to English Channel. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
1. Introduction. Almost 1,000 years ago, millions of people left their homes and walked toward a land far away. They believed they were fighting for God. But why did they really go? The Crusades were a series of wars between Christians and Muslims. These wars began in the year 1095. They were mainly about a place called the Holy Land. This land was very important to Christians because Jesus lived and taught there. At that time, Muslims ruled the Holy Land. A Christian leader, Pope Urban II, asked people in Europe to fight. He promised great rewards. But was this war only about faith, or was there something more? 2. Reasons for the Crusades. There were many reasons why the Crusades began in the 11th century. Religion was one reason. Many Christians wanted to protect the Holy Land. Politics was another reason. The Pope wanted more power and influence in Europe. Fear also played an important role. People were afraid that Muslim armies might attack Europe. Life in Europe was very hard at that time. Many people were poor, hungry, and sick. Some hoped the Crusades would give them land, money, or a better life. All these political, religious, and social reasons came together and led to war. 3. Religion, faith, and fear. Religion was very important to people in the 11th century. Most people truly believed in God and the Church. They feared sin and feared going to hell after death. The Church taught that fighting in the Crusades was a holy duty. Pope Urban II promised that God would forgive all sins of those who died in the war. This promise was very powerful. Many people felt afraid of their past sins. They believed the crusade was a way to clean their souls. Religion became a strong spiritual force. Because of faith and fear, people believed fighting was right. They did not think of blood or death at first. They thought they were obeying God's will. 4. The people behind the war. The Crusades were not only fought by kings and nobles. Many poor people joined the war. Farmers, workers, and villagers left their homes. Some had nothing to lose. Others hoped for land, food, or a better life. Knights also joined to gain honor and respect. When people left, families stayed behind. Wives, children, and parents suffered in silence. Many never saw their loved ones again. The Crusades were not just a war of leaders. They were a war of ordinary people and broken families. 5. The First Crusade, 1096 to 1099. The First Crusade began in 1096. There were two main groups of crusaders. The first group was made of poor people. They had little training and few weapons. Many of them died early. The second group was stronger. It included knights and trained soldiers. They traveled a long and dangerous road. Many died from hunger, thirst, and sickness. The Crusaders fought important battles. They captured Nicaea in 1097. They fought for Antioch for many months. Many Crusaders died during this siege. In 1099, they reached Jerusalem. They attacked the city and broke through the walls. When they entered, they killed many people. Muslims, Jews, and even Christians died. The city was taken with great violence. 6. Life after the First Crusade. After the First Crusade, Christians controlled Jerusalem. They built new Christian kingdoms in the Holy Land. Knights and nobles became rulers of these lands. For a short time, there was peace. Cities were rebuilt. Trade began between East and West. People from different religions lived close together. But this peace did not last long. The Christian rulers were few and far from Europe. They needed help to survive. Muslim leaders began to grow stronger again. They wanted to take back their land. Small battles started to happen. Trust between the two sides disappeared. Slowly, new conflicts began to rise. The First Crusade had ended, but the war was not truly over. 7. Daily life in the Crusader kingdoms. Life in the Crusader kingdoms was not only about war. People tried to live normal lives every day. Cities like Jerusalem and Acre were busy places. Markets were full of food, spices, and cloth. Traders came from Europe, Asia, and Africa. Christian, Muslim, and Jewish merchants sold goods side by side. There were laws to keep order in the cities. Each religion had its own rules and leaders. People did not always trust each other, but they learned how to live close together. Farmers worked outside the city walls. Soldiers guarded roads and castles. Church bells and prayer calls could be heard in the same city. Even during war, life continued. People married, worked, and raised children. This was the quiet, human side of the Crusades. 8. The Second Crusade. After some years, the situation changed again. Muslim armies became stronger. Christians in Europe felt worried and angry. The Pope called for a new crusade. This time, two powerful kings joined. People believed the Second Crusade would be a great success. But the journey was very hard. Many soldiers died on the way. Muslim armies defeated them in several battles. When the Crusaders reached the Holy Land, they made a serious mistake. They chose to attack the wrong city. The plan failed completely. The Crusaders were forced to retreat. They returned home tired and disappointed. The Second Crusade was a big failure. It showed that faith and power were not enough to win. 9. Rise of Saladin. After the failure of the Second Crusade, a new leader began to rise in the Muslim world. His name was Saladin. He was born in the region of Mesopotamia and grew up as a soldier. Saladin was not only strong in battle, but also wise and patient. At that time, the Muslim world was divided. Different cities and leaders fought each other. Saladin believed this weakness helped the Crusaders, so he worked to unite the Muslim people. Step by step, Saladin gained power in Egypt and Syria. He brought many armies under one command. For the first time, Muslims were fighting together as one force. This made the Christian kingdoms in the Holy Land very nervous. In 1187, Saladin decided it was time to attack. He met the Crusader army at the Battle of Hattin. The Crusaders were tired and thirsty. Saladin's army surrounded them. Many Christian knights were killed, and their king was captured. After this great victory, the road to Jerusalem was open. City after city fell to Saladin. Soon, Jerusalem itself was under threat. 10. The Third Crusade. When news of Jerusalem reached Europe, Christians were shocked. The Pope called for another crusade. This became the Third Crusade. 3 powerful kings answered the call. The most famous was Richard of England, called Richard the Lionheart. He was brave and skilled in battle. The Crusaders traveled by sea and reached the Holy Land. Their first major goal was the city of Acre. After a long and hard siege, Acre fell in 1191. This was an important victory for the Crusaders. Richard continued to fight Saladin. He won several battles and captured the city of Jaffa. However, Jerusalem was still out of reach. Richard marched close to the holy city. He could see its walls, but his army was tired, hungry, and far from home. Richard feared he could not defend Jerusalem if he took it. In the end, Richard chose peace. He made an agreement with Saladin. Jerusalem would stay under Muslim control, but Christian pilgrims could visit the holy places safely. The Third Crusade ended without taking Jerusalem, but it showed respect between 2 great leaders. 11. The Fourth Crusade. The Fourth Crusade began in 1202. At first, the plan was to attack Egypt. Leaders believed Egypt was the key to controlling the Holy Land. However, the Crusade soon went in the wrong direction. The Crusaders needed ships to travel by sea. They asked the city of Venice for help. Venice agreed to build ships, but the Crusaders could not pay the full cost. To solve this problem, the leaders of Venice made a deal. They asked the Crusaders to attack the city of Zara. Zara was a Christian city, not a Muslim one. The Crusaders agreed and attacked it. This decision already showed that the crusade had lost its moral purpose. Later, another offer appeared. A prince from Constantinople promised money and support. He asked the Crusaders to help him become emperor. Instead of going to Egypt, the Crusaders changed their goal again. In 1204, they attacked Constantinople. This city was the capital of the Byzantine Empire and also Christian. The Crusaders broke through the walls and entered the city. For 3 days, they robbed churches and homes. They took gold, silver, and holy objects. Many people were killed. This was a terrible mistake. The Fourth Crusade did not fight Muslims. It destroyed a Christian city and weakened the Byzantine Empire forever. 12. The later Crusades. After the Fourth Crusade, the crusading movement grew weaker. Later Crusades focused mainly on Egypt. Leaders believed that controlling Egypt would help them regain Jerusalem. The Fifth Crusade attacked the city of Damietta in Egypt. At first, the Crusaders succeeded, but they argued among themselves and made poor decisions. Soon, they were trapped and forced to surrender. The Sixth Crusade was different. Instead of fighting, the Christian King Frederick used diplomacy. He made a deal with the Muslim ruler and gained Jerusalem for a short time. However, this peace did not last. The Seventh and Eighth Crusades were led by King Louis IX of France. He was deeply religious and very determined. Louis attacked Egypt twice, hoping to become a great Crusader king. Both times his armies failed. Louis was captured and later died during the last crusade. By this time, fewer people wanted to join crusades. Money was low. Faith was weaker. The Crusades were clearly losing their power and purpose. 13. The fall of the Crusader states. By the late 1200s, the Crusader states were very weak. They were small, divided, and surrounded by strong enemies. The most powerful new force was the Mamluks. The Mamluks were Muslim warriors who ruled Egypt. They were well-trained, disciplined, and united. Unlike earlier enemies, they had one clear goal: to remove all Crusader kingdoms from the Holy Land. Step by step, the Mamluks attacked Crusader cities. Castles fell one after another. The Crusaders received little help from Europe. Many European kings were busy with their own wars. The last and most important city was Acre. Acre was the capital of the Crusader states. It was rich, crowded, and heavily defended. In 1291, the Mamluk army surrounded the city. After weeks of fighting, Acre fell. The walls were broken. The streets were filled with chaos and fear. Many people were killed. Others escaped by ship across the sea. With the loss of Acre, the Crusader states ended. After nearly 200 years, the Crusader kingdoms were gone. 14. Myths and truths about the Crusades. For a long time, the Crusades were described as a holy war. Many stories showed brave knights fighting for God and honor. But history is more complex than that. The Crusades were not purely religious. They were also driven by fear, power, land, and money. Some people joined because they believed in God. Others joined to escape poverty or seek adventure. There were no simple heroes or villains. Christians committed violence and destroyed cities. Muslims also fought and defended their lands. Innocent people on all sides suffered. The idea of good versus evil does not fit reality. History is not black and white. It is full of human choices, mistakes, and consequences. Both winners and losers paid a high price. Lives were lost. Cultures were damaged. Hatred lasted for generations. Understanding the Crusades means looking beyond myths. It means seeing people as they truly were: afraid, hopeful, faithful, and flawed. 15. Conclusion. Effects of the Crusades. The Crusades lasted for nearly 200 years. They changed Europe, the Middle East, and the world forever. Millions of people were affected by these long wars. First, the Crusades brought great destruction. Cities were destroyed. Villages disappeared. Many innocent people died. Families lost their homes and their future. But the Crusades also created connections. Trade between East and West increased. Europeans discovered new goods like spices, silk, and sugar. New trade routes were opened across land and sea. Knowledge also traveled with merchants and scholars. Europe learned from Muslim science and medicine. Books about math, astronomy, and philosophy were translated. This knowledge later helped Europe grow and change. However, the damage to religion was deep. The Crusades increased hatred between Christians and Muslims. Trust was broken for many generations. Even today, memories of the Crusades still exist. The Crusades also weakened some powers and strengthened others. The Byzantine Empire never fully recovered. Muslim powers became more united after many conflicts. Europe became more connected to the wider world. In the end, the Crusades were not a clear victory for anyone. They left a mixed legacy of progress and pain. 16 lessons for the modern world. The Crusades teach us important lessons. War always has a high cost. Even when people believe they fight for a good cause, suffering follows. Violence creates more violence. Hatred grows instead of disappearing. Peace becomes harder to reach. The Crusades show that fear can be dangerous. Fear of the other can lead to terrible decisions. When people stop listening, conflict becomes easier. Dialogue is more powerful than swords. Understanding is stronger than force. Talking does not mean agreeing, but it helps reduce hatred. The story also teaches us to question simple answers. History is complex. People are complex. There is rarely only one truth. Today, the world is still divided by religion and culture. The lessons of the Crusades are still relevant. We must choose cooperation over conflict, learning over ignorance. The Crusades remind us of our responsibility to learn from the past, to avoid repeating the same mistakes, and to build a future based on understanding, not war.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.